guys, it's me, JC, and this is going to be a little bit of a different video. I have been dealing with some health problems that have been preventing me from going back to work and preventing me from driving, preventing me from really living my life as I normally would. When this all first went down, I did post something on Facebook. I'm not sure if I posted anywhere else, I don't think, but I did get some comments saying that the reason that I have been having my issues is because of the COVID vaccine, and that is completely not true. This is something I was born with, and I will go into more detail as the video goes on, but I kind of want to go from like the start when I first started having these weird symptoms up until recently, I guess. I started feeling sick around November 24th. It was Sunday late morning. I was actually in the middle of a workout exercise and I immediately just had to shut off the TV and just like kind of like lie down. My head just started like really hurting, and like it didn't alarm me at all. I really thought that I was having a migraine, which I have them fairly frequent. Like I actually have like special medication for my migraines, so I just didn't really think much of it. I just, you know, told Ross I wasn't feeling well and went to bed. Honestly, that was that. I think I slept for most of the day, and then Monday morning I woke up and I still had that weird headache. So I got Ross to message my boss that I was not coming into work. I was not feeling well. So I can quickly go into the symptoms. I just don't want this video to be like super long, but essentially, at least my migraines, the pain is mostly centered on my left side, and then I have like some vision loss on my right side. Like my vision kind of goes like spotty, almost like TV static, and I don't know, I just didn't think it was weird. I started getting a lot more worried later on Monday, when I started having a little bit more difficulty getting anything done, like moving around my house. Ross still went to work. Like I just still didn't think it was like that big a deal. I just took some Tylenol, and you know, it was enough so I could, you know, sleep or relax. And then Monday evening it still wasn't gone, which is that's never happened to me. That's very odd. So we went to the hospital and we spoke to one lady there and told her my symptoms, and she didn't seem very concerned. She said like, well, if it's still there in the morning, come back to the hospital, essentially. So we're like, okay, that's exactly what we'll do. So we went home the next morning, so that would have been Tuesday morning. Ross always wakes up like really early, like just after 5 in the morning, and he goes to the gym for like an hour, and then he showers, and then he does his morning routine. So he woke up super early, and I normally wake up also when he wakes up, just because I'm a very light sleeper. And my head was hurting. I'm like, frick, like I can't go to work again today. So I didn't speak at all to Ross when he was getting ready to go to the gym. But so he went to the gym for, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. And the pain was just getting so bad, and I had such like fuzzy thoughts. Like, it was so hard to form a regular sentence. Like, my thoughts were all over the place. So to try to pick up my phone and get Ross's number into my phone and then call him, I don't know actually how long it took. I'm thinking it took about 10 minutes, because every time I tried to use Siri to say, like, call Ross, it wouldn't do it. And I still don't know why it wasn't doing it. I obviously was doing it wrong because my brain was not working correctly, but I don't know what I was doing wrong. So I just had to be very, very particular and actually type in Ross in my contacts. And it took me so long. Eventually, I finally got in contact with Ross. I said, there's something like very, very wrong with me. You need to take me to the hospital, essentially. And at this point, I had been crying for, I don't know, 50 minutes. So I was in really rough shape, and I had hardly eaten anything, like very, very small, for the last couple days as well. So this point on, for the next couple days, is very blurry, as in very hard for me to remember exactly what happened, because I was in a lot of pain. My brain wasn't working correctly. So they put me on some medication to help with my pain. And yeah, it was very hard for me to remember, but I do remember being in the hospital for 3 days. They did multiple tests. They did 2 tests where, you know, you go into that big machine and it's like really loud, and then they essentially just scan you. So I did 2 of those, and then I did another test where they injected me with some kind of liquid, and it burned. I don't know what it was, and then so it burned, and then it made me feel like I had to pee. And then this test, they could see like all of my veins or whatever. And then they were gonna do some other tests, but those tests could negatively affect my fetus, so they decided to put it off. And I'm glad they did, because I ended up just getting better, and it would have been unnecessary to do more testing, because they figured out what was wrong. So what I have is called an AVM, which I don't know if I can pronounce this correctly. Arteriovenous malformation. I can kind of try to explain how I understand what it is, but it's veins in my brain that were not formed quite correctly, and what has happened is over time they have gotten wider, they've gotten fatter, and one had started leaking. So that was giving me all my symptoms, was a brain leak essentially. But fortunately, my body it has healed itself. It stopped the leak, and I've improved significantly. Like the symptoms that I'm having now because of it, it's very, very mild. My symptoms in the hospital were loss of vision in my right eye, not when I say this, I mean like I can still see out of my eye. I just lost some like peripheral vision. So I have noticed that since the hospital, my peripheral vision has gotten a lot wider. It is still not as wide as my left eye, but it's, I would say, pretty minimal, and it's not something that I can foresee affecting my life in any significant way. And I don't know, I still am holding out hope that it'll eventually just all come back, because so much of it has come back already. Because before it was like here and I like couldn't see, but now it's definitely back a ways. And like when I've talked to my doctors, I have like so many doctors I talk to now, it's really hard to keep them all straight, but they're saying like it shouldn't affect your driving or anything like that. But speaking of which, they did suspend my license for 30 days, which the 30 days should be coming up like right away. Hopefully I can start driving again in January, fingers crossed. So I've just had to like rely on other people driving me, or just spending a lot of time at home, which is pretty lame. So I'm not working and I'm spending a lot of time at home. So now I'm just talking to a camera. The second symptom that this has given me is just being very forgetful. I still had all of my memory, but my recall was super bad. So they would always ask me the same questions in the hospital, and I definitely would get better every day when they would ask me these questions, but they would ask me things like, do you know where you are? Yeah, this is bad when I can't because this was like weeks and weeks ago. They were asking me different questions to see if I could recall. And then they would also do like tests. So they would take my blood pressure like multiple times a day. The other big one was they would ask me what the date was. And I got the date wrong almost every single time. I'm pretty sure I said it was like 2007, or like I was having a hard time recalling the month. I would have to like go through all of the months in my head to get to the month that I thought it was. I'd be like January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. I think it's November. Yeah, it was like really weird. Definitely glad I'm not having that issue anymore. So I went into the hospital like very early Tuesday morning, and then I got released the week after, Monday afternoon. So I was in the hospital for just under a week, and I think I could have gotten go a little bit earlier, but it was over the weekend, and they really don't do a lot over the weekend. So I got let go Monday afternoon. So, I mean, my hospital experience was okay. I went through multiple like roommates, or I don't know what you would call them. And the last one I had, she was like smoking in the room. She was like disobeying the doctors, and oh, it was just horrible. And so I had to deal with her, and then the doctors would have to wake me up at, I think it was like 11 o'clock at night, and then 4 in the morning, and then they did tests again at like 8 or 9 in the morning. It's like, oh, it's like constant. So I feel like I didn't really get a good sleep in the hospital. Only the last couple days that I was in the hospital, they would let me sleep through the night. Oh, it's glorious. I believe that's the majority of things I wanted to talk about. If I miss anything like super significant, I'll just put a pinned comment. But essentially, a quick overview. I wasn't feeling well, went to the hospital, had a brain bleed, but it stopped on its own. The majority of my symptoms have just fixed themselves. But because I have this issue and it's not fixed, I do need to get it fixed. So we haven't scheduled anything yet. It will happen next year. The thing is, I have to not be pregnant. So they want to do a C-section, probably they're thinking the first week in April, potentially the last week in March. They don't want me pushing because pushing could open up the artery again and I could do another brain bleed, so they just like want to avoid that at all cost. So once baby's out and then I'm recovered from my C-section, then I'll go in. They'll either do radiation, which will shrink the blood vessel and then it shouldn't cause me any more issues, or they'll go in and do surgery to remove it, which would be a lot more invasive, but it would be quicker. I don't know. I think they're letting it up to me to choose, but I'm not really sure because obviously surgery would be quick and simple, but there could be potential issues with that as well. But if I go radiation, it'll take years, right? So that's the other thing, is like, if we want to have a second child, how long are we wanting to wait till I'm not, like, till I'm cured and I don't have to do radiation anymore, right? Because you want that like totally out of your body before you get pregnant again. I don't know if I want a second child. We'll see how the first one goes, but I feel like this video is definitely long enough. If you have any questions, please keep them respectful or I will be deleting them. But I'm pretty much an open book. I'll let you know. Of course, my camera ran out of memory like right at the end of my video, so I had to delete a video. So yeah, if you have any questions, please keep them respectful. I'll try to get to them. But yeah, essentially I was sick, I'm better, but I'm not healed. That will happen hopefully later in 2025. But if I go radiation, I won't be cured for a few years. They're saying like 3 to 5 years. I'm like, oh God. So I will keep you guys informed of my recovery and what we choose to do, and hopefully everything goes very smoothly and it does not bleed again. The doctors are saying like there's a 90% chance it won't bleed again, especially since I'm going the C-section route, because they're like, do not push, you will bleed again if you do that. I'm like, oh, I really didn't want a C-section, but what are you gonna do? Anyways, I'm gonna leave the video here, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Oh, and Merry Christmas! I'm not sure when this video is going out. If it goes out before Christmas, Merry Christmas. If it goes out after Christmas, Merry belated Christmas. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.